Welcome to the Thrift Store Kitchen Review, where I test all the weird junk from the thrift store so you don't have to. Welcome to today's edition of the Thrift Store Kitchen Review. Are you ready for yet another pointless novelty item that claims to do something that you already have many different ways in your kitchen to do easily without adding another single-use device that's just going to take up space? Well, I've got one. That would be the grilled cheese toaster from Nostalgia. It's a toaster, but it apparently makes full grilled cheese sandwiches. So before we try to use it, let's take a look at our grilled cheese toaster. I got this one for $4.95 at Mostly Mutt's Market in Ackworth, Georgia. It has these two sandwich baskets that you drop in. On the side, it has a cancel button, a preheat button. You're supposed to preheat this before toasting your grilled cheese. Has a defrost button, I guess in case you're using a frozen grilled cheese sandwich. A temperature knob, which when cooking the sandwich, you're supposed to turn it up here into the melt zone. And that has your standard toaster handle. Has this awful yellow colored, very cheap feeling plastic casing, but I've never seen a product made by Nostalgia that didn't feel very cheap. Basically, Nostalgia makes a combination of retro themed like coffee makers and microwaves and weird devices like this, snow cone machines. I think they make a cotton candy maker, just like home versions of stuff you'd see at the carnival. As I said, every single one of them just feels very cheaply made, and they're of questionable quality and usefulness. So I'm going to clean this up and wash these sandwich baskets, and then we're going to see how good of a sandwich it makes. I've cleaned up the toaster and washed the baskets. Now let's try it out. So the first step is I'm supposed to push the handle down and hit the preheat button. While it's doing that, I'm going to make our sandwich. I have 2 pieces of bread and 2 slices of provolone right here. So got our cheese, got our bread, and then the manual did say that it recommends buttering the bread. So while this is heating, I'm going to go ahead and get this buttered. Okay, so it should be preheated. That didn't take very long. I'm going to butter the other side of this sandwich. Okay, now we have an issue. And just because, of course, they made these slots way too small. I mean, all this is a regular toaster with some buttons that say it can make grilled cheese. So I'm going to see if I can squeeze the sandwich into this somehow, and if not, I'm going to have to run to the store and get some other bread. Okay, let's see if I can make this fit. I'm going to make this fit. I wipe this butter up. Now I'm going to turn this up into the melt zone. And the sandwich should be cooking. I think regardless of how the sandwich turns out, I'm going to go to the store and get some different bread so we can see if that works any better. It is getting hot. I'll be honest, I've never seen a less necessary kitchen item. There are so many ways to cook grilled cheese, and I guarantee almost all of them would be better than this. The easiest way is to use either a pan or even better, an electric griddle. Prepare your sandwich, have a spatula there and just mash that sandwich down to kind of thin it out some while it cooks. Get it nice and brown. Delicious. Some people like making grilled cheese on the waffle iron. Personally, I don't like it that way, because if you try to butter it, then you're stuck having to clean the butter out of the waffle iron when you're done. I'd just rather not do that. If you really like that texture, I mean, waffle irons are cheap enough that you can just buy a dedicated waffle iron just for making sandwiches. I mean, if you really wanted to do that, that option is there. And then they even make little, like, grilled cheese sandwich presses. They're cheap, they're easy to use. I don't like them as much as cooking them in the griddle or in the pan, but they work. Can definitely smell that bread, probably because it's so close to the coils. Okay, it is starting to smoke a little. Okay, so let's see how our sandwich turned out. Yeah, this is not going to be fun to clean up at all. Yeah, there is a ton of bread in there. Luckily, there's a removable tray. Look at how it mangled the sandwich on the way out. Well, at least that side looks edible. All right, let me get this out and onto the plate. Shocking. This cheese is barely melted. Okay, well, I just wasted food. I'm going to run to the store and get some standard size bread, and we're going to attempt this again. Okay, I'm back from the store. I've gone ahead and cleaned out and preheated the toaster. I've gone ahead and made the sandwich as well. See, look at that. Even when you use standard size bread, look at how much butter and how much it just rubs up against the side. Regardless, I've also turned the temperature up just a little bit because the cheese barely melted while I used the slightly thicker bread, and we're going to see how this one comes out. Sure is a lot of smoke from this thing. Okay, let's see how this one turned out. Even when you use regular sized bread, getting it in and out of the toaster is a problem. Let's at least see if the cheese melted this time. Wow, that thing burned on the outside, and look at that. The cheese is barely melted. It did say we could put it back in there. I guess I'll have the burnt side facing out and not in this time, and turn it to a lower heat to melt the cheese more. I'm going to give that a try, and we'll accept whatever results we get. Okay, let's see it now. Okay, so now this side is almost completely burnt, and this one is somewhat burnt and torn to shreds. Wow. Get the sandwich out onto the plate. Let's see if the cheese at least melted this time. Okay, well, it did that much. I mean, the cheese melted well. It had to completely scorch the bread to do so, but it did. Take a bite of this. Yeah, and as you could guess, the main thing you end up tasting is the burn of the bread. So yeah, we've tested some bad products here before. For example, like the GT Express 101. If you haven't watched that video yet, the thumbnail says semicircles the future of food. Watch that one. That's a bad product, but at least it's useful for something in a pinch. It can successfully cook the food in there. This thing takes something as simple as grilled cheese and completely ruins it. Novelty toasters are the dumbest idea ever. We saw it in the episode with the hot dog toaster, a product so awful, it inspired me to use literally everything as a hot dog toaster in my videos. Well, guess what we're gonna do next? This thing may not work as a grilled cheese toaster, but we're going to find out if it works as a hot dog toaster. I just went ahead and preheated this again. Now it's time to find out, will it glizz? Now, if there's one thing we did learn from the hot dog toaster, cooking the hot dog and the bun at the same time probably isn't the best way. So I'm going to go ahead and get one of these sandwich cages and put the hot dog in. At least with this bottom, it'll hold the hot dog in place while it toasts. Well, I thought so. Let me get this kind of at an angle. There we go. I'm going to turn the heat way up on this and go ahead and send the hot dog down. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and prep this bun to be cooked once the hot dog is ready. Go Go ahead and get just a little butter on the inside of it. Got both the top and the bottom. And then once the hot dog comes out, we'll put the bun in there. I can hear the hot dog starting to sizzle, so it is cooking. Okay, let's take a look at that. I mean, that hot dog's looking pretty done, actually. Let me get out here on the plate. Put this down for a sec. I'm gonna break it open and feel the inside's done. Oh yeah. Yeah, that hot dog's ready. All right, now let's do the bun. Go ahead and get the bun in the little cage. Drop that down. And turn the heat down some. That would have sucked if I left it turned all the way up to maximum like I did for the hot dog. Okay, bun is ready. How's that look? Looks decent. All right. Bun is nice and toasty and buttered. Hot dog is ready. Let me take a bite. It's pretty good. I honestly cannot even comprehend the logic here. We have a grilled cheese toaster. It can't make grilled cheese. We had a hot dog toaster that can't successfully make a hot dog and toast a bun. But then we have the same grilled cheese toaster that can somehow make a decent hot dog. Mind blown. Well, thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Thrift Store Kitchen Review. I hope you enjoyed watching this more than I enjoyed using this. Be sure to subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, linked in the description below. Get out there and support your local thrift store, and have a wonderful day.